I'm your host, Javier Vicuna, and I'm joined here today with my co host.
Santy Hernandez.
And on today's show, we have a very, very special guest named Miguel Rodriguez. He is a local film director here in Marin County. Thank you so much for being on the show today with us, Miguel. I'm super
Hello.
excited for this show. I'm
Yeah,
amped.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, could you just introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everybody. My name is Miguel Rodriguez. I am 20 years old and I am from Marin County. I was born in McAllen, Texas, but grew up most of my life here in Marin. And I'm a filmmaker. So, yeah.
Awesome. And Miguel, let's just start things off with what movie has influenced you the most? I'm sure you've gotten this question asked quite a few times, but we're curious.
Yeah, no, of course. That's a great question, by the way. It's always like a thing where I have like I always answer this question with almost every movie I watch kind of influences me. Like something from it, I always like from every movie I always pull something from it that like I like personally because I mean I'm a filmmaker. I think you know I can. It's almost like how you like your audio thing, so you can listen to something. You're like, oh, that's something cool from this thing that I've heard, right? But the movie that's like influenced me the most was probably the first Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland in it. So Spider-Man Homecoming because I watched that when it first came out, and I love Spider-Man. That's like my favorite superhero ever. And when I watched it, that like said it. Like in the back before I watched it, I was like, do I actually want to make a movie? Like I kind of want to. It would be cool to be in a movie. It'd be cool to make a movie. But then I watched Spider-Man in the theaters, and I was like, no, I got to make a movie. I want to make something. I got to do this. So that was like my first time. I was like, let's just try it. So
No, that's a great
Spider-Man.
answer.
Yeah.
I'll say mine in just a bit, but Santi, you want to answer that too?
I am a big movie fan. I
Mm-hmm.
love the cinematic directing, filming. I love cameras. That's me. So,
Uh,
like you said, every movie has different things. I love cinematic movies.
mm-hmm.
Just blows my mind how they're directed. When it comes to movie has influenced me a lot, I think one of growing up, my parents showed me a movie, and it's called Life is Beautiful. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I don't know if you guys heard that or seen that movie. It's so emotional, but I just the message in general was so powerful. And so when they asked me like, what movie do you recommend? That's one of that movie is in my list of inspirational, motivational. And then of course I love the Spider-Man films.
Yeah. No.
I'm a Tobey Maguire. That
Oh,
is
he's
my growing up childhood, but I feel that I love all three of them, especially the new one that just came out. Blew my mind. I was being a little girl at the movie theater screaming about, the whole thing that happens. I don't want to spoil anything, but absolutely amazing movie. But what about you, Javier?
Yeah, so I mean, like everyone's been saying so far, I love Spider-Man too. Like
yeah.
I grew up with the original Spider-Man movies, and I also watched No Way Home recently, and I thought it was fantastic. It was everything a Spider-Man fan could want. But if I had to be honest, I really this might sound really generic, but actually I really like Quentin Tarantino. And I no country sorry. Um Pulp Fiction, I think, is one of the movies that made me kind of realize that cinema can be so much more than just like storytelling. Like, there's so much that goes into a film, like looking at shots, how beautifully he directs scenes, and especially his soundtracks. Like the soundtracks that Quentin Tarantino uses for his movies they're always so good. They're always really really good. So I'm always looking forward to watching like what he comes out with, and to be honest, like again, I'm not much of a film person. I'm more of an audio person, but whenever I watch a Quentin Tarantino film, it like blows my mind because it just makes me like want to learn more about filming and what it does. So, yeah, that's my perspective on that. But thank you for sharing. Now let's get into your filmmaking. So, what got you into making films?
Um, I it's kind of like I had like when I was in eighth grade. Sorry about the noise. I just as soon as I turn my mic on, it started. In eighth grade, I was very much again like when we were talking before we started. I was a pretty bad student. I wasn't that good at school at all. I was okay. I wasn't that bad, but it wasn't really good either. And I was just thinking, I was having one of those things where I was just thinking of what I wanted to do in the future. I was like, what do I really want to do? And I couldn't think of anything. Like everything that I thought I wanted to do was not something I really like wanted to do, like something I love to do. And I was just trying to like figure out like something creative, I guess, that I wanted to do. And I had this class with a teacher, I forgot his name, but it was like, I forgot what class it was, but we used cameras in it. And he told us to go out into the school, and I used to go to Davidson, and he told us to take pictures of stuff and make it like cool, like do something creative with it. And I did that. And after I did that, I was like, it'd be cool if I kind of like recorded stuff. And I started recording stuff in the class and everything. And then from then on, I was like, it'd be cool if I try to like film like a scene or something. And from then on, I just slowly progressed into like, getting more into like how to do this, how to make the camera look like that, how to put it over here, how to do different things like that. And then I already liked movies when I was obviously, because almost everybody likes movies, but I started getting more like curious and interested in them, like how they're made. And then I was like, let me try it out. And then that's when I watched the Spider-Man movie, and I was like, I want to try to make a Spider-Man movie. And then when I got to freshman year of high school, I was like, let me try it. And then we used this really bad like vlog camera that one of my friends had, and we really tried our best to like try to make a Spider-Man movie, which we never finished, but it was really fun. And that's basically how I kind of started. And then from then on, I just started to make a bunch of them. I was like, let me just try to do a bunch of different things. And I started doing a bunch of, with my friends. I invited them. I was like, do you guys want to be in a movie? And they're like, why not? And then we just started doing all that stuff. So that was really fun. But that's how I started.
That's awesome. Yeah, like I think that's a very good way of starting. Just kind of just throwing yourself out there. Like even just using like a crappy like vlog camera or something, like that's fine, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that now with you could even just use your phone now, because iPhone cameras, to be honest, they have they advertise now actually like that their cameras are like cinema, cinema ready and stuff like that.
Yeah. I actually use an iPhone. I use the iPhone for all of my films that I have on my channel. All of them iPhone 7, except the last like 6 that I made. Those are on an iPhone 11, but all of them iPhone. I didn't use a camera at all.
Wow, really? Those were all on iPhone?
Yeah, all of it on iPhone. So you kind of, the only way you would know it's an iPhone is if I told you, because some of it you can kind of tell if something's like overblown, like a shot is overblown. But other than that, I kind of like really tried my best to make sure everything was like saturated well, and like the contrast was like good and everything, to make sure it didn't look crappy or whatever, right? But
yeah, I want to touch on with what you said right there on using your iPhone. And here's the reason why I want to kind of touch on that, because one of the things that for me that has been really hard, I do photography and I used to do filming a lot. And one of the things that I always put as an excuse is I don't have the equipment to start.
Yeah.
So you mentioning, hey, I filmed everything with an iPhone, and you putting it out there just kind of reminds me of like, there's no excuses. If you really do love something, like just start. Because for me, that was a big like factor that didn't let me, start.
Yeah, that was something that happened to me. I was really like, I can't make a movie without a camera. I need a camera. I need a microphone, one of those big ones. I need people to hold stuff. And I was like, and then when I had my phone and I had my friends, and all I had was a tripod. I didn't even have a microphone to plug into the phone. I was like, let's just try it. Let's just, and then I got this app. It's a really good app that it costs like $20, $30. And it's called Filmic Pro. And it actually helps you fix pull focus and fix lighting in the app. So when you record the clip, you can export the clip from that and then throw it under like whatever your editing thing you're going to use. And that actually really, really helped, because if I didn't have that app, all the stuff would have looked really bad. But but yeah, it was crazy. I was like, yeah, let's just use a phone. Why do we need a camera? At that point, I was already like, I just want to make one. Let's just do it on the phone. Let's just do it. And then we just started. Me and my friends just did it. We were like, let's just film on the phone. So we just did that, and it was great.
That's awesome. So you mentioned, the audio side of things. I think one thing that I got to, I'm gonna be very transparent. I only got to watch half of Domino. And I was really confused at first because I didn't realize that it was the last film out of your, your big like cinematic universe.
Yeah, of course. That's fine.
So I was like, oh crap, I messed up. I watched the wrong one. I shouldn't have started with Domino, but I still got something out of it in the first half of the film. Like, I could feel like the characters, like the kind of the way you were presenting them. Like I really enjoyed how genuine a lot of the characters felt. especially with little things like when you recorded I forget the name of the character who goes to McDonald's and then they go through the drive-through. And yeah, I thought that was really cool. Because I was just fanboying a lot because you captured a lot of great locations in Marin, and I'm sure that there's
absolutely.
And just seeing kind of like those areas in action is really great. And also seeing like those canal homes and everything. Like I grew up in Canal, so like I was just like, oh wow, like this is really cool. Like it's like I'm like really like immersed. Like I got really immersed into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like even if I was just confused, I was like, why is everyone like, who's this guy that died? Who is this person that died? And then I'm like, I was just, it was a lot, but also again I didn't really mind because your storytelling was really good. And again, like during the more like I think emotional scenes where I think that David, right, was like putting his head down like in the balcony and all that with the music in the background, I thought that was amazing. And just little things like that add a lot of character to your directing. So I want to just compliment you on that.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it.
And I also, again, like I didn't know that you did all this through a camera. So I was thinking, how do you capture audio then? Because I thought the audio sounded really good.
Yeah. So I actually plugged a microphone into my phone. So I have this grip, and it's almost like a camera grip where you would put the camera. I'm not recording anything. You put the camera on here, and then the grip would surround it, and you could hold it from here without putting your hands actually on the camera, so the camera doesn't shake too much. So what the grip had on it was a little slidey thing that you could put a little slot that you could slide a microphone into it and keep it in place. And I was like, I should probably get a microphone. So I bought a microphone, plugged it in with an adapter for an iPhone, and then I plugged it in. It's a really small, like it's not even that good of a microphone, but it could pick up stuff if we're really close to like people and like for audio.
Yeah.
And I just plugged it in, put it in there. And then the only problem with that is that because it's not a good microphone, you could hear wind like really bad.
Right.
So if we're doing an action scene and we're running or doing anything with movement and it's windy, all you hear is wind. But when we're just still and it's like kind of like a calm day and you hear people talking, you can really hear them talking because I'm right there, like right next to them. So yeah, but I just used the regular level. I don't know what kind of microphone it was. It's a really small one. It's like a little iPhone one. I got on Amazon for like $20. It was really cheap.
All right, so just want to shout out the YouTube chat right now. We have Grisha Driscoll cheering you on. We got Kimberly Alcantara. I hope I said that right. She and the slow DE. I don't know. Looks like some car. Some car guy. Yeah, but hey, thank you. Welcome to the show, everyone. We appreciate you being here. Santy, did you have any questions you wanted to ask?
Yeah, well, now that you kind of started with your gear, I want to ask more about it. For example, like I said, my experience with filming, I stopped filming. But I do have I remember certain things, like you said, the wind. I can totally relate to that. But that kind of leads to like, you can fix things with editing and all that, but that requires a lot of, you have to learn and skills. So I know you mentioned before the show that you're not going to college, but how are you, growing and making your films better? Are you going to a film? Do you have a course you're taking, or how do you, how are you learning along the way?
I'm not taking film. I'm not going to film school, or I don't plan on going anytime soon. And it's nothing against film school. Anybody who does take film school, that's great for them. Again, I told you guys earlier, people learn in different ways. And again, I personally don't think that I would learn really well in film school. Yes, it's about film. I love film. That's my favorite thing. Obviously, that's what I do. But I don't think I would be really good in there, right? So how I learn is I just go either while I'm making movies, I'm obviously learning stuff while I'm making them. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. The audio is terrible. Oh, this shot was really bad. It's out of focus. Like trial and error is basically most of it. But at the same time, also going to watch stuff like TV shows, short films on YouTube, movies, doing all that stuff. All that can help me. Oh, I like how they did that. How they look it up. How did they do it? What did they use? You know what I mean? So that's how I learn. I learn by just going to watch stuff and making stuff. It's just trial and error and everything. And yeah, I mean, that's basically how I've been doing it since I started. I just been watching things and messing up and learning and messing up and learning and messing up and learning. That's just, trial and error. That's how it works for me.
And I love how you brought that up, that you like see something and you Google it and you do all
Mm-hmm.
of that. And today, that's something that is so powerful that people don't know sometimes, is that
Yeah, of course.
anything you want to learn, you can Google it, or you can go to YouTube
Yeah.
and learn along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I love your energy, and I can so tell that you love what you do, because you're like,
Thank
hey,
you.
here.
Yeah, yeah,
And that energy you can see. So having you and kind of listening to your the techniques
Mm-hmm.
that you use and how you do it is absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. And I'm
Thank you.
so happy that you're from Marin, because I know there's a lot of people here who love film, who love audio, who love photography, and they just don't start um
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
because they think they don't have the resources. But really, you have an iPhone, you have a laptop, you
Yeah.
can research. And so I really appreciate you being very open with us and
Of
sharing,
course.
all of these things. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna hand it off to Javier.
Yeah, so we're gonna ask you the second set of questions soon, but right before we're gonna play a quick PSA, and we'll be right back.
Oh.
You and your community safe from the threat of a new coronavirus. There are steps you can take now to get ready if an outbreak occurs in your community. Make a household plan, learn how to prepare and take quick action if someone gets sick. Older adults and people with chronic medical conditions are at greater risk. Take extra steps to protect them. Think about what you will do if there are changes to your work schedule. Remember to always practice good, healthy habits such as frequently washing hands with soap and water, staying home when sick, and covering coughs and sneezes. For more information, visit cdc.gov.
All right, well, welcome back again. Coronavirus is going crazy.
Oh, yeah, I don't even.
Nothing new there, unfortunately. But again, just stay safe, everyone. We really appreciate everyone on chat right now. Shout out to everyone watching on both YouTube and Facebook. But again, take care of yourselves. Stay safe while you can. I know we're all tired of coronavirus and we're all tired of it. But
Yeah,
you know,
we are. Man,
the more all of us just keep staying safe and doing the right thing, we're sooner hopefully we'll be out of this. But anyways, Miguel, I'm gonna have Santy actually start things off here with asking you some more questions regarding your gear and your camera.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, Santy.
Yeah, well, you kind of just mentioned all of that, and then one of the most important things about filming is and directing, especially directing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing it by yourself. You have actors, you have the
Mm-hmm.
filmmakers, and you're the one who's like, hey, I see this, right? But it's a
Yeah.
teamwork. So you mentioned you first started off with friends,
Mm-hmm.
asking them to be playing roles in your movies. But really,
Yeah.
how do you set up your team? How do you get your actors, your filmers, the writers,
Yeah.
the photographers? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So for the most part, I basically kind of did it by myself. I taught myself how to try to write. I don't know how to. At first, I didn't know how to write an actual script, because there's a certain way you have to write a movie script. You don't just write it and okay, let's go do it. You need to have it in a certain format. Like if I wrote a script without the format it was supposed to be and try to present that to somebody, like a producer, if they saw like the first page and it wasn't how it was supposed to look, like an actual movie script, they wouldn't read it. They'd be like, okay, cool, here, take it back. And then I wouldn't be able to pitch anything new. So I had to learn how to write that, and that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different way of like of a thing. But I had to teach myself how to write. And the main thing I tried to do was make sure that they didn't seem unrealistic, like not the characters didn't seem unrealistic. And after I wrote what I wanted to write, I had to think about, okay, where do I want to shoot this? And obviously, I'm not gonna go like to LA and like, oh, hey guys, can we shoot it here? Like, we're gonna film it where we are. So we're gonna try to do it here in Marin. And then we just picked spots around Marin County, like here in Novato, where I live, or down in Canal, where like Javier said, where those are where most of my friends live. So after that, I would ask, after I wrote it, I would ask them if they wanted to be in it, and they would almost always say yes. They just, obviously, because they're not actors, they needed to look at it and be like, oh, this is what I have to do. Okay, cool. And then we'd go over it. I'd explain to them how to go about it and everything. And then we just do it. So at first it was just me and my friends. Shout out to Alan, Irwin, all of them. And then right around Domino and a couple other movies, like 4 movies back, my friend Devin Fromer, he's also a filmmaker. He's a great filmmaker. He's gonna put out this really great feature film soon. Actually, I'm helping him work on it. he helped me start writing better. Like he came in and he's like, hey, what are you doing, man? I love all your movies. What are we doing? Come on, what's next? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make this movie called Streets. I need to write a new character in here. Blah blah blah. I need these kinds of interactions in here. And he's like, let me help you. And then he helped. And so me and him collaborated. My bad. And he helped me figure out how to like tell a really good story and bringing in bringing in people's attention like that, because yes, we have to do. You don't want to bore anybody, because if you bore somebody, that's it. They're not going to keep watching. They're going to be like, oh, okay, this is boring now. But he really helped me with making sure I keep people's attention and keep people on the edge of their seats and everything. So it was kind of more like I just used my friends. All my friends are really helpful. I mean, on set, sometimes I need somebody to like. One time I had one of my friends, Irvin. He wasn't in the movie at all, but he was there. We had a shot where somebody was like laying against like some grass, and he was supposed to get shot at, and we needed a thing of grass to fly over his head, make it look like he like big hit. And Irvin was just sitting there, and I was like, "Hey, come here real quick." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Can you rip grass out of the ground and throw it over Miguel?" And he's like, "What? Why?" I'm like, "Just can you try, please?" He's like, "Okay." And I was like, "Okay, action." And they did it. So I just use my friends for almost everything. I mean, it's a really great thing to have good friends who are always willing to help you, and always willing to and willing for them to put themselves out there like that. So I really appreciate all of them. So shout out to all those guys. So
that's awesome, especially if you know that you have friends, to our audience, if you have friends that have businesses or they're doing some type of artistic creative thing, and you can help them grow, to support them. Really, sometimes a lot of people supporting them is financially, or sometimes it's just reposting, liking their videos, resharing, or just doing, like you said, throwing grass.
Anything helps. Those are always the best friends.
And we all start somewhere, right? I think that we all see, especially for you probably have directors, writers that you admire, and but they all started somewhere, right? They started like at the top. But I from what I'm hearing, so you direct, you film, you write, so you have a lot of roles.
I'm a one-man show.
Do you edit as well?
I edit all my stuff.
So you got I definitely see that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I looked more of on your Instagram, kind of like the trailers, and I saw that you were taking a lot of photos with people and you described them, and I thought that was really nice. I have this person, so that was really nice. And how do you edit your films? And what software do you use?
So I edit. I have a laptop. It's not a good laptop, so I don't use the laptop at all. The only thing I used it for was to like save pictures, pictures and stuff on a hard drive. That's all I used it for. I didn't use it for anything else. I used it for school. That's it. My mom actually gave me her, which I'm using right now. This is what I'm doing the call. My mom gave me her iPad Pro, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I signed myself into my account and everything. And then I bought this. I already knew about it because I've been using this app for a while. It's called LumaFusion, and I think it's only on iOS. And it's a really, really good editing app. And I'm gonna be completely honest. When I first opened it, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what the hell? Everything was all over the place. I was like, where does this go? And I was freaking out. And even the little help button that you click on, it labels everything. That didn't help at all. Like that's just there. But I just slowly was like, okay, let me look stuff up. Looking stuff up always helps. I just looked up how do you edit an action scene? How do you edit this? How do you do this audio thing? How do you make it sound like someone's on a phone call? Like if the shot's on them and they're talking to somebody, but we don't want to show the shot of them talking, but we want to hear them on the phone. How do you put the audio for that, right? And I slowly started to learn how to do that stuff in the software, and it just took me a while. It just took me a little. It's just again trial and error, but I personally, and I edit really fast. My friend Devin, who helps me write them, he really is like, you edit really fast. I'm like, because I got better at it. Because at first I didn't know, again, what I was doing, but over time, starting to learn how to like put scenes together and make the actual film and everything, I slowly learned shortcuts to do stuff, right? So I was like, oh, hold on, to save time, I'm gonna edit this scene right now. So then later when I edit the other scene, I can just put them together and they're done. We can keep going, right? And then for music, I just, put in music already there. I'm like, okay, this is the song I'm going to use. I just need the scene. When I'm done with the scene, put the song there, and that's it. we keep going, right? So I mean, that's all I basically did. But it's a really good app. If anybody wants to use like an editing app and they don't have a computer or anything, and they have like an iPhone or an iPad or something, they could totally use that app. It's just confusing at first, but they could look stuff up. So LumaFusion, it's really good.
Well,
it costs money though, but you know,
well,
it's like $30, but it's fine, worth it, completely worth it.
Hey, that's cheaper than a lot of software.
Absolutely, yeah. $30 better than like $200 a month.
True. The audio stuff, I'm gonna hand it off to Javier if he has any questions with the audio stuff, because I know that's his area and that's his field. Yeah. I don't know if you have any questions for Miguel, Javier.
You know, I just wanted to just say that I think what you just told us about how, you know, you just opened up the app and you didn't know what was going on, but you just kind of did your research on like YouTube videos, I'm pretty sure, right, to like figure everything out. That right there is a good point to show to everyone that like literally you don't need to go to school to like make a movie, or you don't need to go to school. Same thing for audio stuff or making music. You don't need to go to school for that stuff. Like you can literally find videos of like how to make beats, how to do this, how to use different software,
absolutely, all
over YouTube. And I think that's just so great, especially now because people have access to that and it's free. You don't have to pay a single thing. So yeah, that's great that you're basically self-taught, because I'm also self-taught. Like I taught myself a lot of this audio stuff by myself, because to be honest, like a lot of colleges, they just don't have a whole major dedicated to audio or anything like that. So I just had to do my research on my own. But there's benefits to that, because for one, you kind of start understanding, you create like your own way of understanding these things, unlike like a textbook or something telling you that this is correct or that this is how it's supposed to sound, right? But you kind of already answered my questions for audio. It seems like you just use like a like an external audio device, and that's awesome. I think that's definitely the way, because I think a lot of people don't understand that if you could have like the best looking video ever, you could have the best video, most beautiful 4K quality video, like beautiful shots, but if the audio is crap, no one's gonna watch it. No one's gonna watch it. So I'm glad that you took into account that, because I think that's just as important as the video is audio and getting it right. And just a quick note, talking about like your movies in general. So I noticed that in Domino, and I think in your other films as well, you use a lot of guns. I just had a question, like how. So are those are prop guns? Like how do you get away with them? Like how? Well, yeah, I guess legally we can't say if they're real or not, right? Legally,
we would definitely get it.
But how do you get away with using those kind of in public settings, or do you just not use them in public settings? Like how do you do all that safely?
So if I'm gonna be technical, then safely go tell the police that you're gonna film with guns. Go tell them. Go let everybody around the neighborhood know you're gonna film with props like that, especially if they look like that, like real, is really real.
Yeah.
And like even mine, they're plastic, but I have one specific one that is metal, and it looks really legit, and it's all scraped up, and a character sometimes like holds it up really high and like they shoot it sometimes. It looks way too real to be like walking around with it. And the main thing that I worry about sometimes is when we have those out and Marin is a safe kind of safe place, right, and everything like that. But I really don't want to have anything bad happen to my guys, because again, we're all Latino. I don't want to be like I don't want anything bad to happen to any of my friends. I don't want anything bad to happen to me. Sometimes I'm in the scene and I'm like freaking out and stuff. So and some of us I just don't want anything like that. So the main thing you got to worry about is let people know you're going to film with those, be safe, be completely. The main thing I did, I actually didn't tell police most of the time when we used them. And that's because of that, because I didn't want them to, they're going to be doing something stupid music video. So, they're going to be thinking something dumb, when it's actually, I'm trying to film something, like really trying to be as professional as possible. But because I don't want to struggle with them, even though it's the most safest thing to do is to tell them, I just didn't tell them. I was like, I'm not going to deal with them, which has led me to, some consequences. And I won't get into that like right now, but just what we mainly did was, if we were filming something out in public and we had them, main thing I told them was, as soon as I say cut, as soon as I yell cut, and if you see somebody, drop it. Just doesn't matter if it breaks, doesn't matter if anything happens to the gun. I don't want anything to happen to you. Drop the gun, okay? And then everybody always listens. They're like, okay, cool. And every now and then, obviously, I would catch one of them like, haha, like aiming at each other, playing. I'm like, put it down. And they're like, okay. And they know me. I'm always like, put the gun down right now. And they're like, put it down. they turn into like kids when they start playing with them. They're fun though. They're so fun.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. They look like fun to play around with, but yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that insight, Miguel. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I wanted to ask you, is there any last words you'd like to have for the audience watching, or for anyone who may want to get into filming here in Marin, or just in general?
Just do it. Nike. No, I'm playing. Just get out there and just get out there and do something creative. Even if it's not filmmaking, anything, just go out there and do it. Even though we're in Marin and like you said, nothing really happens in Marin. Do it. We're at a point now where a lot of people want to be creative and they just don't have the not the courage. What is it? Determination and like the mindset to just do it. And I just really would want people to just put all that aside and just focus on what they want to do and what creative stuff they want to do, and then just do it. I use the phone. There's no excuses. Whatever you have, go do it and just get better at it. Do what you love. You know what I mean? Just get into it.
Love that. No excuses.
No excuses.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, hopefully, we'll have you back on the show soon enough when we're in a brand new studio.
I would love that. Yeah.
It's been an honor getting to know you, Miguel. Thank you so much for being on the show with us today. And thank you to everyone watching on YouTube and Facebook. We appreciate the support. Seems like you have quite the following, Miguel. So it's great.
Friends are all like, yeah.
So thank you, everyone. And if everyone wants to rewatch or hear the show, maybe they came late, you can hear it on Spotify at Tay Radio Marin, or rewatch it on both Facebook and YouTube. But anyways, that's it from us. Take care, everyone, and stay safe out there. Thank you.
Bye. Take care.